Hello everyone, Shrapnel here from Battletopia with my third attempt at recording this. I'm a professional. How the Capellan Stole Christmas. Every wargaming grognard likes Fedsons a lot, but the Capellan who lived just anti-Spinwood from Fedsons did not. The Capellan hated Fedsons the whole Christmas season. No need to ask why, because we all know the reason. First, his ammo supplies were too tight, and the Chancellor's head wasn't screwed on just right. But I think the most likely reason of all maybe that his territory was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his space or his guns, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the suns, staring out from the march with a sour Capellan frown at their warm, verdant worlds and cities and towns. For he knew every soldier in Fedsons afar was busy preparing for the next succession war. "And they're loading their dropships," he snarled with a sneer. "Tomorrow is Christmas and they're practically here." Then he started his Vindicator's engine a-humming. "I must find some way to stop the Fedsons from coming." For tomorrow he knew all Fedsons girls and boys would raid bright and early. They'd bring all their toys. And then oh the noise, oh the noise, oh the noise, 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 noise. Then the sons, young and old, would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, 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 which was something the Capellan never had in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Sun soldier, the tall and the small, would stand close together with victory bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and those sons would start singing. And the more the Capellan thought of this victory sing, the more the Capellan thought, "I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 253 years we've put up with it. Now I must stop the Fedsons from coming. But how?" And then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Capellan got a wonderful, awful idea. "I know just what to do," as he laughed till he puked. "I'll make a quick dirty bomb case and a nuke." He chuckled and clucked. "This needs my full attention. It'll solve all our problems. To hell with the Ares conventions." Then he took some potanks and his servitor Fred, and he tied the big nuke to his urban mech's head. Then he loaded more Urbies whose pilots were dead on a ramshackle transport, and he whistled for Fred. Then the Capellan shouted, "Get up!" and the transport started towards the town where the sun's first dropships were just touching down. The lights were all off. Quiet snow filled the air. All the sons were all dreaming of victory without care. When he came to the first Union dropship on the square, "This is stop number 1, the Capellan gloated as he came up the ramp and had the Urbie unloaded. And as he left the loading bay, scratching his crotch, when he heard a small sound of a guard now on watch, he turned around fast and he saw a small son, little Mary Sue's son, who was on fire watch number 1. She stared at the Capellan and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you leaving us urban mechs? Why?" But you know that Capellan was so devious and slick. He thought up a lie and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," he said in a forced drawl, "there's some folks on this planet who want to help out you all. So they're backing you up in the best way they can, even if it's just these meager trash cans." And as his fib fooled the girl, and when Mary Sue's son had just turned towards the bay, he stabbed her in the back. After all, It was the Capellan way. Then he did the same thing to the other Suns loading bays, leaving urban mechs much too slow for their own fighting ways. "Pooh-pooh to the Suns," he sang as he reached a safe distance. "We're going to have the victory now in this instance." And then the double flash lit up the sky, and he danced rather poorly throughout the fading light. "My people will find out no Fedsuns are coming tonight. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open for a minute or two. Then all of the Capellans will cry out, 'Woohoo!' That's a noise," grinned the Capellan, "that I simply must hear." So he paused, and the Capellan put a hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't glad. Why, this sounded sad. Every Capellan, the tall and the small, were burning, without any Fedsuns at all. He hadn't stopped the Fedsuns' victory from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Capellan with his skin, a radioactive glow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? I killed their mech warriors. I killed all their techs. I destroyed all their dropships, their fighters and mechs. He puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Capellan thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe nuke bombs, he thought. Don't just kill soldiers in war. Maybe nuke bombs, perhaps, kill a whole of a hell of a lot more. And what happened then? Well, in Fedsuns they say that the Capellan's misery grew 3 sizes that day. Merry Christmas from Capella and all. We'll see you in 2024.